Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Tayler Yarish Show. We are here and we are live episode, you know what it is, 90s, high 90s we're getting into. What's happening, everybody? Xi Jinping, the leader over there, won another term. How did that happen, you know? The guy got elected again. Shocker, huh? How about it? Well, when you run everything, that's kind of how it works, isn't it? I imagine it kind of went down like, you ever seen Big Daddy when the kid wins the poker game or whatever? He's like, I got a 2, a 4, a 9, a 6, and an 8. I win. And everyone's like, what do you mean? How did you win? He's like, because I win. That's how I imagine the election goes. I don't know. Maybe can you steal votes off of TikToks? I don't know. Everybody's worried about the TikTok data being stolen, and I am too, because I don't know what exactly they're stealing. Maybe they just see what you look at, and they can somehow use that to manipulate and whatever, you know? I don't know. I do know if anyone's going to be stealing my data, it better be America. I want America stealing my data, because they're going to put it to good use. Like, I mean, if China, if they steal my data, it's over there. Can my data affect me if they have it over there? I really don't know how it, they're spying on us somehow. I read like one article and says like they track everything, even if like all the stuff that's not any device that you have TikTok on, they can see all the stuff in there. And you go back and forth where it's like, does it affect me? It affects somebody. If I was a person that had things that were worth tracking, I would probably care more, and I do care. I should care, but I don't. But yeah, the guy I guess he won another term over there. I mean, how much like bullshit for a show was that whole thing? I didn't look into it. Did they even have an election, or was he just like, all right, so it's time for a new president? I was thinking does anybody object, and I'll kill you if you do? Does anybody want to maybe offer up another name, and I'll kill them and you and your whole family for even suggesting? No, nothing? You guys think I'm the best choice? You guys, you're too much. You're too much, you guys. I mean, that's probably closer to what North Korea does, but China's probably not too far off, if I had to guess, of how they like, it's not, they don't, like, I think there's voter fraud definitely in America, but it's not, at least we are like voting. Like, I don't think I've ever seen like a picture or a video of like a bunch of Chinese people like lining up at the polls. Do they even do that? I don't know how communism works when it comes to voting. Like, isn't that the whole idea? Is like you don't really vote. It was just like, we're going to tell you what's best for you. Isn't that kind of how it works? Like, there's no reason to vote if everybody gets an equal thing, even though that's not how it happens. I don't know. I just know I've never seen a line full of Chinese people outside like an elementary school waiting to vote. There's never been just a crowd of Chinese people outside of a Knights of Columbus being like, I can't wait to cast my vote for whoever, Like, maybe they do it and they just do it for show. Like, they have all the votes, and then they just, like, set the box on fire, and they're like, all right, we're just going to go with this guy. Like, maybe they do it for, like, are there Chinese I voted stickers? I don't know. I really don't know. I just don't know how communist voting works. But that's how I imagine, like, what if they did that? I imagine that's how it would be in like North Korea. They're like, all right, it's voting day. Make sure you vote. They like chastise the community to go vote. Like, make sure you get out there. Every vote counts. It's important that you vote. You got to take off work and go down to the place where no one knows to go, and you got to vote. And everyone lines up there, and you get a sticker, and you put your ballot in the little slip, in the little box, and then, you vote for whoever the president or the leader is, and then you're like, well, here's also some, some other elected officials, and you got to go, even though I never know who those people are. You know what I mean? Like, you're voting for president, and you're like, all right, I know who those folks are, but then there's all the sub people of, like, Senate and Congress and District 4, blah, blah, blah. Like, those people are just riding off of I don't know what. Like, if you're not, like, beyond president, how much research is anybody doing into anything? Like, you go to, really any, like, suburban small town or whatever where they're voting for local council or something, and you're just driving along the highway, and there'll be, like, 40,000 signs where it's like, vote Brian Dennis for local Congress or whatever it is. I don't know what's it. It's not Supreme Court. It's like local Senate something. It's like the local. It's the minor leagues of government. And there's way too many signs. Every town I go to, like, it's always by the Motel 6 that I'm staying in, where there'll just be like 1,000 fucking all different types of signs, and you could tell that they're kind of like there's like infighting between where they put, like, somebody clearly was like, this is the best spot to put a sign, and then somebody like came and just put something right fucking in front of, like, they put a sign right in front of theirs. They're like, oh, well, Brian Dennis is gonna put his sign, well, Kathy, Hotchelman is gonna put her sign right fucking here because we're for education and parents. And then Brian's like, well, fuck that, bitch. We're gonna put, my sign here because, I'm for food and shelter or whatever. They always have the dumbest, like, things. Like, this is what I see. Yeah, no shit. Everybody supports that. Everybody wants good like, whatever you're for, whatever you're advocating, the other people are for that too. They're just not, like, running on it, right? Like, at a local level. Like, I'm running to fix the roads, and the other person's like, yeah, okay, sure. I want to fix the roads too. It's just not, it's not sexy enough to run on or whatever. I don't know, man. I don't know how elections work. I'm kind of done with voting, Because I've said this before, but I live in New York, and it does not matter. Yes, it does. It does matter. It matters if you go out and you just gotta it matters. Well, you're not going to know anyway. That's the thing. That's the great thing about voting, is it's in secret. Like, imagine how different everything would be if, like, when you went down to vote at the building, everybody saw who you voted for. Like, that would fucking change the level of, like, shame that would come into play if people like, you voted and then it went up on a big jumbotron, like, your face right next to the candidate you voted for. Like, the level of shame that would come in to play would be preposterous. There would be riots. There'd be like, because, some person would vote for the one that you don't like or whoever, and then somebody would it wouldn't take much. It would just be like, wow, okay. And then that would just spark some, argument, and then it goes on TikTok, and then China wins. Isn't that what would happen? I don't know. Whoever runs in New York has got to run on, dude, the fucking subways are getting a little hectic. I've been just literally in the past, like, 2-3 days, I just check the Google News app occasionally, and I've just been screenshotting, like, all the crime articles that have just been popping up, and, like, I'm not, like, searching for them. They're just there, and there's so many of them, and so many of them are people getting pushed on the tracks. I mean, there is something going on. It's like, I think right now there's more people being killed by being pushed on the tracks than COVID. Has to be. Like, it's every day. like it seems a couple times a day there's another guy that just pushed somebody onto the subway. I mean, I haven't seen anybody like when I've been riding the subway, although I've been biking a lot recently, so I haven't been on the subway, but I feel like the person that would go about doing something like that, you would notice. You would see them come and be like, if anyone's going to fucking do it, it's going to be that guy. But maybe that's when you don't notice it because you don't see the guy. But there's so many fucking people. And the mayor was like, all right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to put some more cameras down there to ensure safety. We're going to make sure there's more cameras to combat the people shoving old women onto the subway tracks to their death. We're going to make sure we capture it on video, because the MTA is trying to get their TikTok going. I mean, I don't know how the fuck that's like. That'd be like if to combat the hurricanes in Florida, we're going to put more cameras on the beach. Like, we just want to see the hurricane coming in real time. We're not going to do anything to actually stop it. And how do you stop? You can't stop people getting pushed on the track. All you can do is arrest the guy that does it. You can't preemptively be like, hey, you can't be down here because you look like you'd shove an old lady down there. Like, what? I don't know what you do. I don't know what you do besides just rounding up. It's a lot of times it's homeless, crazy people. So unless you just maybe there should just be one building where we take all the homeless people. This is going to sound bad. You take all the homeless people and you just, one of these high rises that's just not being these office space high rises that's just not in use. If you just put them all in a really tall office building where they can all fit, and then you just lock the door, and just put cameras in there. Talk about something that could go. If that was a reality show on Netflix or something like that, it would do better than Dahmer. If you took all the homeless crazy people and you locked them in a building. I mean, I think that was a Saw movie that they did, right? And you just let them, you put them in a building, right? And then you store food in various places all over the building, behind certain locked doors. And this sounds so bad, but there's challenges that they gotta complete, and then then you get a key, and you have to find out what door the key, and maybe you open it, and there's just a bunch of McDonald's or something like that. And it says sponsored by McDonald's. What would be the name of that show? I don't know. The Unhoused or something like that. I think that'd be terrible. It'd be an awful, awful thing to do, but people would watch it. People would 100% watch that show. I would watch that show. I would watch it. Because I would assume that anything with that level of production, it's all right, this isn't real, But we watch, TV shows like Alone, where they're just on an island, with no food, and they're naked and shit. But I guess because that's voluntary? They chose to do that, whereas the homeless people aren't choosing to be homeless. Although it's I don't know, where is personal responsibility? Did they make the choices themselves that led to this, that led to drug? But it all stems from fucking childhood, I think. So it's ultimately probably not their fault. But maybe it's it could be a voluntary thing. It's you could stay homeless and you can live on the street, or you can go in the, fucked up, unhoused, Chuck E. Cheese Adventureland and play do the competitions. And I don't know what the competitions would be, but, I'm just spitballing here, folks. Anybody wants to pitch in some ideas, call in, Well, I'm just an ideas guy. I'm not the one who's trying to make this show. If somebody does want this idea, I will sell it to you for $50,000. So, because I think that's what it's worth. I don't think it's good, but it might be entertaining, you know? I don't know. That's that. Matthew Perry's got a new book about drugs, speaking of addiction and everything. I've been seeing fucking so much shit about this guy, you know? It's like, we get it. You were fucking coked up and on opioids throughout all of Friends. Who gives a shit? You know? He's like, there was one scene where I fell asleep and Joey woke me up. He's a lifesaver. It's like, grow up, you know? Like, the fact that he can just open up and we're all just like, oh, Matthew Perry, we knew something was amiss, and everybody gives a shit. Like, who cares? You know, that would have made Friends interesting. That should have been a part of Friends. Of like, why wasn't one of them on? One of them should have had a serious opioid addiction. Like, that would have made that show probably more. He'd probably be the funniest character on that show. You know, like, that would have added an element. Nobody cares about who's fucking who. It'd be another thing if, like, oh my God, somebody stole the pool table. Oh God, I bet it was Chandler, you know, and they gotta like get Chandler help. Like, that might be that. I think that would be a nice. They probably wouldn't do that, you know, in a nice little 90s sitcom, but they never had anything that was super like. The edgiest thing about that show, according to the cast now, is that there were like no black people on the show. Pretty much, they're all like, I can't believe, I'm ashamed. We're all ashamed of what we made on that show because there was no diversity, because, you know, there wasn't an Indian best friend. It's like, shut up, you know, just shut up. That's not how you actually feel, you know. You don't regret. Oh, you regret the thing that made you a gazillionaire? You're making fucking $10 million an episode or whatever. The last season it was. Maybe it was $1 million. Whatever it was too goddamn much. Pivot. So this show sucked. Shut up. You know? Like, I'm just saying that would have. It's not interesting to me that Matthew Perry had an addiction. That's all I'm saying. You're in Hollywood. Get in line. Everybody's got a fucking addiction. Like, the fact that we gave Charlie Sheen as much shit as we did, we owe that guy a fucking apology and some respect, because he was doing, you know, lines of coke off of the fucking couch while filming 2.5 Men, sitting there in his goddamn Hawaiian shirt or whatever, and he was fantastic. Show was so much better than Friends. Like, it was so much funnier. Where is that guy? That guy's not in anything anymore, and it's kind of sad. We need Charlie Sheen back. Okay, we need him to come on TV and just say some wild shit. There should be like a TV show with him, Roseanne, and like Bill Cosby. You know? Okay, another bad idea, but would people watch it? Yes, they would. If there was a TV show with Charlie Sheen, Roseanne, Bill Cosby, we need like one more. Who's like another person that fucking oh God, what's his face? Kevin Spacey. What would I don't even know what the show would be, but if it was Charlie Sheen, Roseanne, Kevin Spacey, and Bill Cosby, and they're like, maybe the angle is because they're all like somewhat older, right? Like, are they all above? Maybe if they're all above 55, then how old is Charlie Sheen? Fuck. Siri. How old is Charlie Sheen? 57. Boom. Okay. How old is Roseanne Barr? God, sorry. Oh, fucking come on, man. All right, I'm going to say they're all old enough. Maybe they all go into like a nursing home and they're just like the new recruits, not recruits, but like, you know, they move to this town, they like have to escape or something, and then they all move into this nursing home, and they're in the fucking independent living, and they just wreak havoc, and hijinks ensue. You know, they all live on the same floor or whatever, and they're just like fucking around at dinner, and I don't know. Charlie Sheen starts like banging all the old ladies, and this is I'm not even I don't even want to go down this idea, but you get it. I'm just saying, again, people like watching terrible things that are based off of really horrible things. Like, I guess you couldn't have a show like that revolved around anything Bill Cosby did that had Bill Cosby in it. But if there was like a fucking docuseries that came out like Dahmer, where they did something on Bill Cosby and someone played Bill Cosby, we'd be like, it's fucking brilliant. It's absolutely fucking brilliant. Like, the fact that like it's the most like watched, right? Isn't Dahmer the most like watched Netflix series of all time? And it's just about a guy who fucking eats people. Like, that's insane. You know? It's a dude who fucking eats gay people, and we're like, 100%. Everything is death and fucking Squid Game, just murdering Asian people. Like, you know? There's something there. Like, what is it that makes everybody freak the fuck out about, I don't know, man. The whole true crime, this and that, we are fucking fascinated. All these people that are just like, God, why did he do it? And why not me? Why didn't he eat me? I don't know. Maybe that's it. I haven't even seen it. I haven't heard one bad thing, especially about whoever the guy is who plays Dahmer. I hear he's very good, and I hear he kind of nails the Wisconsin accent or whatever. But yeah, we're fucking obsessed with true crime. You know, it's bananas. James Corden's in trouble too. He's yelling at restaurateurs. I think we need a little bit of context. I think part of me thinks this thing has been blown out of proportion. If you haven't heard, James Corden got in like a lot of shit because he was apparently rude to a server and like rude to the wait staff, and then the owner went on blast and said like, you can never come back to this restaurant. And here's the thing. It's like, was he probably being a dick? Yes. But did the restaurateur, owner, person, like, putting them on blast, the amount of free press you're going to get because you're attaching a complaint to somebody's name who's that big. It's like, you know what the fuck you're doing. You know what I mean? He acts like he gives that much of a shit about his servers. You don't talk to my servers like that. It's like, okay, what are you fucking paying your servers? You know? Let's talk about the treatment that you're giving them, because I doubt it's amazing. You know what I mean? Every fucking person at every restaurant I've worked at, the owners were always fucking just nightmarish ghouls of a human being who cared about nothing more than money and the overhead, and just skimming by at every goddamn corner, you know? So this idea that it's just, you can't talk to my servers like that. How dare you? Balthazar, 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 whatever the fuck the dumb restaurant is, you know? What happened? What, you know? He sat down and, like, he yelled at the servers because and here's the thing. I don't think you should yell at servers. I don't. But, like, at the same time, how about you just shut the fuck up? In the same way that, like, if you sit down at a restaurant, you have a bad experience, the food was shitty, whatever, I don't believe in going home and, you know, running on Yelp and tattletaling and talking shit on the restaurant. At the same time, you know how many fucking interactions with... I had a weird interaction with Ryan Seacrest and Kelly, whatever that fucking tiny, you know, coked up lady's last name is, Ripa. You know, they were weird to me, but I didn't like go online and make some big fucking thing about it. And the owners didn't either. Thank you very much. But like, the idea that it's 100% one side. And of course, people are going to look at that way because the guy's worth like $100 million and he shouldn't be complaining about it. You know, he could buy the whole restaurant if he wanted to, probably. And I agree with that. But at the same time, it's like you should, I think the fact that anybody even gives a fuck about this. He yelled at a server. So what? You work in fucking New York City and you can't take that? You can't, just because it's this guy who has this important, who has this job where he's on television, like he should somehow, the guy can't have a bad day. Like he was probably having a bad day. You know, same thing with Ellen. Did she create a nightmare environment to work in? Yeah, probably, but that's probably why the show is so good. Or you know, I didn't watch it, but people think it's good, and that's why it lasted so long. Same thing with James Corden. The guy does he's got his show, he's got carpool karaoke. I mean, he's more jovial than anybody that I've ever seen on television, and is it annoying? Yeah, it is, but you know, that's what the guy does. So it's like the moment you deviate, and if that's what you are in terms of the public eye, you have to be that 100% of the time. The moment you are pissed off, you can't do anything. You fucking stub your toe and you scream about it. Boom, you're a goddamn monster. And that's the same thing with this, where it's like, you know, who knows what happened right before then? Maybe he got in a fucking huge fight with, is he gay? I was about to say his girlfriend or his wife, but maybe he's gay. Let's make him gay in this scenario. You know, maybe he got in a huge fight with his boyfriend because, I don't know, whatever gay dudes fight about. And then they went to breakfast and the eggs sucked. And he was like, come on, man. I'm fucking rich and famous. Like, this isn't supposed to happen to me. And he's right. Because that's what you are told. Everybody around you says yes to everything you say, you think, you do. It's yes, you're right, and we'll get it right away for you, and it's going to be perfect, and this is the way you want it. So it's like, of course, his whole life, his whole career has told him that he's important and that things matter, so that the moment you come by with the fucking over easy instead of over medium, yeah, he's going to fucking chew your ass out. Because what do you expect? You know, it's like when you stick your hand in the lion cage and you get bit. Bitch, that's what's going to happen. It doesn't matter that he's, fucking basically Santa Claus on TV. It doesn't matter. He's a rich, famous celebrity person. They're all goddamn monsters, you know? If they're in the public eye, he's on TV every single night. Sounds like a fucking nightmare, you know? Yeah, he's probably insane. So, I don't know. I just don't think it's all his fault. That's my take on that. So, do with that what you will. Anyway, folks, you're hearing this on Monday. Tomorrow is the semifinals of the New York Comedy Competition. If you want to come out to that, it's a competition that I'm in that part of the advancement, like you get chosen to go on to the finals. It's audience vote. So anybody there to support me would help my chances in doing that, which would be cool. But if not, then that's fine as well. We had our last Yarbar comedy show this past Wednesday. The next one is actually going to be a private event through the venue, so there won't be any tickets sold to the public. So that's already done for, so it won't be until a couple weeks after that there's another Yarbar show. But, you know, doing stand-up pretty much every night in the city. So if you want to come to a show, hit me up. Yeah, do that, and it'll be a grand old time. So that is the podcast for this week. Hope you guys are all doing swell. Don't get pushed on the subway if you live in the city. And that's pretty much it. We'll see you next week. Thanks so much for listening. Peace out.